If I said to you that you could create and translate passages of this length in Arabic simply after completing 5 lessons with me, does that sound unbelievable? Keep watching and find out. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'd. This is a little bit different to our usual lessons. This lesson will be an assessment session where you will get to see how much progress you have made so far following the course, and also an opportunity for you to see where the gaps and weaknesses may be within your knowledge and address those weaknesses before the next lesson is released. Before we begin, I would like to let you know that answers for all of the exercises from lesson 1 to lesson 5 have now been uploaded in the description below each video, which was submitted by a student following this current course. This means you will be able to check your answers after you have completed the exercises to see if you have gone wrong anywhere and make corrections. I know many of you have messaged me regarding the answers and have requested that I upload them, so this has now been done for you, so I hope it is of benefit. Before we begin this lesson, I would like to share that everything that I will be teaching in this lesson are from students who have submitted their work ideas during this week. Because I've had numerous work being submitted and passages that many students have created, I have picked a selection and put them together to create this video. Where possible, I will write the names of the students so you can see if this was your work that you submitted. So this lesson is all of your hard work and effort, which I am only delivering. So let's make a start on this and see how much we've progressed in this course so far. Firstly, let me begin by explaining this key that I've created. Anything that is highlighted in red will refer back to lesson number 1 of Mubtada and Khabar. In simple, it will be talking about a subject and some information about the subject. Anything that is highlighted in purple will refer to lesson number 2, which was about Mudaf and Mudaf ilay, meaning something that is possessed, owned or belonged to something or somebody else. Anything which is highlighted in blue will refer to lesson number 3 and 4. I've incorporated the two lessons together, so there will either be a verb, some sort of verb which will be in past tense, and then there will be either someone doing the verb, which is your subject, or an object where the verb is being done to somebody else. This will all be highlighted in blue. Finally, the orange-ish yellow color will be our most recent lesson on preposition. So any of these concepts you are not sure about or you feel you need to revisit again, the links for each and every one of these lessons will be in the description below, so that you can go back and watch any of those sessions that you are unsure about and refresh your memory. Let's begin with passage number 1 of the 3 which I've chosen, which was submitted by a student called Hassan, in which he created a little section. For each of the passages that have been sent in, I will translate each section and then analyze the sentence to see how the sentence is structured and how it can be translated. Every single word, give or take, in every passage are words that have already been covered from lesson number 1 to lesson number 5 to lesson number 3 in the vocabulary. Meaning, if you have been following along with me and been memorizing the vocabulary lesson by lesson, you should know every single one of these words by now. While I take a section and I translate and analyze it, feel free to pause the video and have a go at translating the section yourself, and then check to see how close you were with the correct answer. Making mistake is part of learning, so if you've got something wrong, look back at the sentence and work out where you've gone wrong and why did you translate it differently and make changes. Okay, passage number 1 reads, "The mother is pious and the father is truthful. The father slaughtered the cow and the mother cooked the meat and the chicken. The mother is hard-working." Now, let's take a look at the first part. Here, the mother is pious. Al-ummu, pious, it's information about the mother, which is mubtada and khabar. So if the mother is feminine, salihun becomes salihatun. So the mother is pious. Al-ummu salihatun. And we've got wa. The father al-abu. And again, we have some more information about the father, which is lesson number 1. So, he is truthful means صادق. Wal-abu صادق. The second section is the father slaughtered the cow. So here we can see somebody doing an action. So we have somebody doing it and somebody it is being done to. Lesson number 3/4, we've got verbs and we have فعل, فاعل and مفعول. So the sentence would translate as ذبح الأب, because the father did the slaughtering. What did he slaughter? البقرة, the cow. And wa, the mother cooked. So she is cooking it. It's طبخت وطبخت. Who cooked it? The mother. الأم وطبخت الأم. What does she cook? The meat and the chicken. 2 things. اللحمة والدجاجة. So you've got meat and chicken. This would make it وطبخت الأم اللحمة والدجاجة. And that would finish that section. The last part, the mother is hardworking. Again, this is a reference to lesson number 1 because it is just information about a subject, meaning the mother. So the mother, al-ummu, hardworking, mujtahidatun. Al-ummu, mujtahidatun. This next section was put together by a few friends, Rumaysa, Maryam, and Sarah. The passage reads, the father sat on the chair and they ate meat with the bread. The son placed the cold water for the mother and the father. The daughter wrote a book with a pencil and the mother read it. The book was about the religion of Allah. She wrote Bismillah in the book. So, the father sat on the chair, something is being done. So, jalasa is the verb. Jalasa al-abu, the father sat. Ala, here's your preposition on. Ala al-kursi. So, sat on the chair. Ala al-kursiyi. Because we know, we've learnt in lesson number 5 that after a preposition, the next word has either 1 kasra or 2 kasra. Ala al-kursiyi. Wa akala, and they ate. So we're assuming this is mom and dad. So 2 of them. Wa akala, like fa'ala. Wa akala al-lahma. They ate meat with, so that's a preposition be, al-khubzi, with the bread. Bil khubzi. The son placed the cold water. Now the son is doing an action. وَضَعَ الْإِبْنُ. What did he put down? الْمَاءَ. And it's cold as well. الْمَاءَ الْبَارِدَ. Who did it put it for? For the mother and the father. لِلْأُمِّ وَالْأَبِ. For the mother and the father. The daughter wrote a book. So كتبت, daughter, al-bintu, she's doing the writing. She wrote it what? Kitaban. Kataba al-bintu kitaban. With what? Bi mirsamin. Because we've done the word mirsam as a pencil. Bi mirsamin. With a pencil. And the mother read it. Wa qara'at al-ummu. And the mother read al-kitaba. She read the book. Now again, we haven't looked at pronouns yet, so we are repeating nouns for now. As soon as we do the next few lessons, you won't have to repeat mother, book over and over again. Instead, you will learn how to use he, she and it in the coming lessons. It then says, the book was about the religion of Allah. So, al-kitabu, the book, was about, one of our recent preposition, an, was about deenillah. So here is deen is your mudaf, and Allah, the word Allah is mudaf ilayh. So this is a reference to lesson number 2, an dinillahi. The book was about dinillahi. She wrote Bismillah. Katabat, she wrote Bismillahi, she wrote Bismillah in fi al-kitabi. Fil kitabi, she wrote Bismillah in the book. The final passage was sent to me by a student by the name of Abdul Latif, who is currently doing the course, and he wrote, the girl opened the lock of the door with a key and heard the speech of women. She looked towards the window. She saw the daughter of an uncle and the son of an aunt. They went from the house and arrived at the house of the aunt and ate bread with butter and cream. They went to the masjid and worshipped Allah and read the Quran. So, let's begin. The girl opened the lock. So first and foremost, we've got some action taking place. Fatahat al-bintu. So she's opened. What did she open? The lock. But this lock is being referred to somebody, meaning the lock is being referred back towards the door, meaning this lock belongs to the door. This is an example of mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So here it's going to be qufl al-babi. So fatahat al-bintu qufl al-babi. What does she open it with? With a key. Bil miftahi. And heard the speech of women. She heard wasami'at, the speech of the women. So it belongs to somebody. Kalamun nisa'i. Nisa is women and kalamu is speech. Kalamun nisa'i. Then it says she looked towards the window. So we've got one of the keywords that we covered was nadarat. She looked. Nadarat ila shubbaki. She looked towards the window. She saw. Fara'at. She saw. I don't think you've covered a verb for seeing, which is ra'a. So this is why it will be fara'at. So she saw the daughter of the uncle. Bintal ammi. Because the daughter belongs to the uncle, and again the son belongs to the aunt. Wa ibn al khalati, or ibn al ammati, depending on which aunt you are talking about. They went from the house, meaning all of them. Dhahabu, they went from the house. Minal bayti, from the house. And they all arrived. Wa wasalu ila, they arrived at or towards. Where did they arrive? The house of the aunt. Baytil ammati. They arrived at the house of Baytil ammati or Baytil khalati. Again, depending on which aunt. Wa akalu, and they ate. What did they eat? Bread. Wa akalu, and they ate khubzan. They ate bread. What did they eat it with? B, with zubdati, bizubdati, wal qishtati, with the butter and the cream. Bizubdati wal qishtati. The last part is they went to the masjid. So they all dhahabu to ila al-masjid. They went dhahabu ila al-masjid and they worshipped. Wa'abadu, they all worshipped Allah, because they are doing the worship that makes them the subject, and the word Allah becomes the object. Wa'abadullaha, and wa qara'u, and they read al-Quran. Al-Qur'ana wa qara'ul Qur'ana. Now, out of all of the work that was submitted, I chose these three passages because you could put them together and create a mini story per se. So if you put this together, that is a pretty lengthy story, well detailed, with words that you could use on a daily basis. And the story or the passages, they flow well and go together really well. The reason for bringing these three passages together is to show you how much has been included, all of which you can now understand and translate accurately just by following the 5 lessons that I've taught so far, which are extremely short and simple compared to a lengthy Arabic course or anything you would study. This is why I would recommend that if there is any lesson you feel you are weak on, or any concept that you feel like you haven't fully grasped or you are unsure about, then I'd recommend you go back, you re-watch the lesson, take notes, and make sure you complete the exercises and memorize the vocabulary. If at any point you have any questions or anything you are unsure about, feel free to contact me and ask me, and I will make sure to get back to each and every single one of your questions and answer them as thoroughly as I possibly can. If you continue to follow on with this structure and manner that I'm teaching at the moment, I can guarantee that within the next few weeks and the lessons that we look at, you will have mastered the fundamentals of the Arabic language and you will understand how the language works. Do have a go at creating your own little stories or passages or just a conversation with yourself or a partner and practice what you've learned so far. Again, I have included the links for each of the lessons that I've taught so far in the description below, with vocabulary and exercises for you to practice, all of which will be under the description of each of the videos. I pray you enjoyed this lesson and watching the progress you have made so far, and this lesson was of benefit to you. Jazakumullah khair for your time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.